Romania could easily phase out coal until 2030, and we are definitely using an excuse the fact that not all countries in the EU have pledged to phase it out until 2030. But there are very few left. About 6 countries don't have a policy yet. And for Romania, it would be much more easier than for those countries because we don't have a high reliance on coal. We only have about 20% of our energy mix relying on coal. The rest is a variety from hydro, nuclear gas, and of course, we also have a big potential for renewables. Spending even €1 from public funds on natural gas is a mistake. Natural gas needs to be phased out before 2040 in order to meet our climate goals. If you invest in natural gas today, that's money that you will regret investing 10 years later when you need to think to how to replace it. Instead, we should invest in renewables, we should invest in energy efficiency, and we should try to make our system as smart as possible so we do not have any more reliance on fossil fuels in 10 or 20 years from now. Romania's National Energy and Climate Plan is unambitious because it's still relying on coal in 2030, which is a huge mistake because all the coal units functioning today are unprofitable. It's hard to imagine how they would still be functioning in 2025, not to mention 2030. Furthermore, we have all the solutions necessary to be able to phase out coal before 2030. We can invest in renewables, we can increase energy efficiency, and we can do it in a way that does not affect the people who are now working in the fossil fuel industry. The coal from Jiu Valley is very expensive. Mining is very expensive. The equipment is dated, is 30 years old. And also there have been a lot of accidents because there was no modernization in the mines for the past decades. Second of all, because still this modernized power plant is very polluting. It's one of the most polluting units in the country. And despite the fact that it was modernized, it is still not efficient in terms of costs as well. The company operating these power plants, Hunedoara Energy Complex, has debt of close to €1 billion. It is insane. €400 million are owed on ETS allowances alone. For the past 4 years, they did not pay for the pollution they have been producing. The company it's a mystery how this company is still functioning today, considering the debt it has accumulated over time. There is no such thing as green coal. The technologies to make the coal industry less polluting are extremely expensive, and we would be much better off if we spent our money instead on technologies which are proven and which are scalable as well. If you want to invest in carbon capture and storage, you will be stuck spending billions of euros, as they have already done in other places like the United States, and you're going to end up with a mammoth which will not be able to be profitable ever. Furthermore, other technologies such as coal gasification do not solve the problem of CO2 emissions. You have fewer indeed, but you still have too many in order to reach our climate goals. The people in Jiu Valley, they understand the problem much better than those in Bucharest and than those in the central government here. The people there have seen the company going from 50,000 employees in 1990 to 3,000 today. In a region of 150,000 inhabitants, people are aware that they cannot rely on this industry anymore. In terms of a date, indeed, it's a problem, and this problem is created by the central government because Romania is one of the few countries in the EU which did not establish a coal phase-out date. I think that it should definitely be before 2030, but from an economic point of view, the company cannot survive that long. It should be up to them to see what is the way to function for the next years, because state aid is illegal for coal in the European Union. The money that has been going from the state budget to this company, it could have created double the number of jobs because it's been huge amounts, and we are seeing that the company is not doing any better today. It's still a failing company in terms of economics. If you look at the numbers year after year after year, it is making a loss. Maybe in terms of coal, it's not that slow on European level anymore. We had very encouraging announcements. I don't think anybody would have thought of a coal-free United Kingdom who was built on coal, really. We have very few countries left. Out of the big European economies, we have only Germany, who is a huge disappointment with the 2038 coal-out phase, which is way too late for what we need to happen. But at the European level, then again, I would absolutely not put the blame on the European Commission and the European Union, because the decision on the energy policy is up to the states. It is not up to European institutions. So what we are the reason why I think the transition is going slowly in Europe is again because of this mixture that we are seeing in Poland, in Romania, in Bulgaria, of powerful energy producers which are in good relations with powerful state actors. And of course, the state actors will defend the interests of these powerful power producers. So the problem in Europe, to a great extent, I think, is the fact that the governments are not following the democratic interest to have cheaper energy and to have less polluting energy, but instead they are defending the interest of big corporate players, and these players are invoking the need to defend the thousands of jobs they are creating. These jobs exist, they are important, but there are alternatives to them. Not overnight, definitely, maybe not at the same level of pay for everybody involved, but if you have a strategy which takes 5 years, 10 years, then you can find a solution for everybody.